Hi, I'm Shelley Wood, and this is my tiny sewing room where I make doll clothes sewing videos. Today, I'm going to show you how to sew a pajama top. It's the first part of a pajama project that we'll be making, and this pajama top will fit most of your 12-inch baby dolls. That's about 30.5 centimeters, like the 12-inch baby alive dolls. And many other baby dolls in this size range are going to fit this pattern too. Before we begin, please go to shelleywood.com to download this free printable PDF sewing pattern, as well as this one. It's 2 parts. This part includes the ruffle. Use your pattern to cut out 4 backs, 2 front pieces, 2 sleeves, and 1 sort of longish ruffle piece. Set one of the backs on top of another back, keeping what we call right sides together. You're going to sew the neck and back closure areas. Do this with both backs, and then clip your seams, like you see me doing here. Set one of your fronts on top of another front, again keeping those right sides together so pretty side touches the pretty side. Stitch around the neck area. Clip these seams as well. Invert all of your bodice pieces. Now I find that using a chopstick helps with turning because doll clothes have such tiny corners. Press all the sewn areas of the bodice front and both backs. Now if you're teaching children to sew with this, they'll need supervision with a hot iron. Set one back on top of your front piece and align the shoulder area. Your sides will seem like they're uneven, but that's okay. Stitch to connect the shoulder area and press this seam open. Follow the same directions for the other back. Okay, let's work with the sleeves for a while. Create a casing at the end of each sleeve by folding the end of the sleeve a tiny bit for the first fold, and then a second time the fold is going to be quite a bit deeper. Use your pattern to guide you with this. Now when you sew, you want to sew along the very edge of this casing, keeping your stitches very close to that fold. Measure your doll's wrist for elastic. It's a good idea to give yourself about 1 centimeter of extra elastic, and this will allow for a comfortable fit. You'll need to cut 2 elastics so that you can do both sleeves. Attach a safety pin to the end of one elastic, and then send the safety pin through the sleeve casing like you see me doing here. And if you need help with casings, I also have a tutorial for that. Use straight pins to hold the elastic in place while we work with the rest of this. Prepare the elastic this way for both sleeves. Attach one side of one sleeve top, starting at the underarm of your garment and back stitching around the curve of the armhole, but you need to stop just shy of the halfway point. Wrap the sleeve around to the other underarm and stitch again to just shy of that shoulder. So there should be a gap right in the middle. See where my finger pokes through? You're going to gather your sleeve fabric to make it match the length of the shoulder fabric of the bodice. Stitch the gathered part of the sleeve to the shoulder. I'm using a back stitch here. If you need help with the back stitch, I have a tutorial for that as well. There's a link to these in the description on YouTube. Attach both sleeves this way. Flip the bodice over so you're looking at the right side. Fold the sleeve in half, resting back on front. It's important to backstitch over the elastic and through the elastic as you sew from the end of the sleeve to the underarm and then down that tiny side seam of the bodice. You'll do that on both sleeves and then invert the whole bodice. Hem the long ruffle piece by folding the long end of the fabric once and then a second time. Stitch to secure the hem from end to end. And now gather the side of that ruffle that's opposite the finished hem. Your gathers will make the ruffle curl, and that's okay. But be sure to leave 2 centimeters on each end of the ruffle that don't have any gathers at all. Before knotting your gathers, compare the ruffle to make it match the bodice's raw edge. Now you can't see it in this image, my fingers are covering it up, but I usually pin my ruffle to my bodice before I start to sew, and that's how you make sure that your gathers are going to match the length of the bodice. Attach the ruffle, keeping right sides together at the bottom of the bodice. Make sure those ungathered edges extend well beyond the bodice's back closure areas. And then once you've finished attaching all the gathered area, fold these ungathered sides once and then a second time to form a side hem. Whip stitch this side hem to match the back closure so that they're level with the back closure, and then flip the ruffle down. Add snaps or Velcro as a final closure. And now you're ready to try it on your doll. I'll post a tutorial for the pajama bottoms next week, so keep an eye on my website. For more free printable sewing patterns for sewing doll clothes that will fit dolls of many shapes and all different sizes, please remember to visit my website, shelleywood.com. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy my videos and my free patterns, please share them on social media. It actually helps my website grow when you help spread the word.